Hello people, Andrew here, talking about comics from a reader, collector, speculator, investor point of view, in that order of importance to myself. Today, usually I talk about a particular series and some of the books and highlights of that series, but today I'm going to look at some of the purchases I've made over the last 6 months or so. Most of this came from dollar bins, but there's a couple that I paid a premium price on, and starting with the first one here. The dollar bin stuff, I actually ended up paying about 65 to 70 cents a piece for them. I filled a couple of long boxes at 90 bucks a piece and another one at 200, and you get about 220, 225 books in a box. The second box that I got for $90 was a return to a vendor that had the sale. So I was stretching to fill that box and bought a few things that I wouldn't normally have bought. All right, so starting off, I bought a Strange Tales number 151. This one cost me $50. It's a Silver Age book, and I'm collecting the Strange Tales series. So I'm always happy to get something that brings me closer to completing that. We'll talk about that more when I talk about Strange Tales. Marvel Premiere number 23, an Iron Fist issue. I have the Iron Fist series, the one that includes the first appearance of Sabretooth. Again, we'll talk about later. But I decided that I wouldn't mind having all of the Iron Fist books, taking a look at his history. This one here only cost me $10, so I was happy about that. And then we get into the dollar bin stuff. So here we have the Squadron Supreme. I know of the Squadron Supreme, and I know that originally they were written up as not quite a parody, not quite a tribute. I'm not sure what to call it, but it was written by obviously by Marvel. The authors are writers at the time, and it was a look at the DC's line from the Justice League. So the Squadron Supreme was modeled after the DC universe characters. I've enjoyed their appearances throughout. I have no idea what this series is like. So this is the 12th one in the series. Who knows? So we'll see if we like it and continue on with it. When I got back into comics, so I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, I had been away for a number of years. And when I was first getting back into it, there was so many Avengers books. The Initiative, the Avengers Arena, Mighty Avengers, New Avengers, went through a number of different prints. Being an Avengers fan, I bought a lot of that stuff, and I continue to buy Avengers material. This is just another book along that line. Whether or not it's good or not, don't know yet. I've been going through some of the Epic books that I have, and sometimes when I'm going through a particular box and I see books from that particular collection, I'm more apt to pick it up. I'm not necessarily crazy about Crash Ryan. I only read the first issue, and it's only a 4-issue run, but this is the 4th issue, so it's quite possible I'll be filling this one up eventually. I picked up a couple of issues of The Incredible Hercules in a dollar bin previously, and I read them, and I liked them. I thought they were quite good. So whether or not it continues to be good, I don't know, but at around 65, 70 cents a piece, I figured it was worth it to pick up a few of them. So that was 117, and that's 119. I don't know the writer. I don't know the first name of the writer. The last name it's written on the cover as Pak, P-A-K. So we'll see how this one goes out. But as I said, enjoyed the 2 that I read. I do like Hercules. I love the idea that he feels that when he punches you in the face, he's giving you his gift. So I do like that about him. So we'll see how this one is. This is issue 124, 125. An extension from was originally the Incredible Hulk, and then I believe it was either 112 or 113. I think it was 112, where it switched over to the Incredible Hercules. I don't know why. Eventually I'll read that and find out why. So Spirits of Vengeance, this was again towards the tail end of the second box. It was like, I need something to fill it. I used to have more copies of Spirits of Vengeance, part of that series, but I got rid of it. I didn't particularly like the series. I found that the horror books from the Marvel in the 90s were not very good. I didn't like that every demon had to have a tongue that was a foot and a half long, and all they ever wanted to do was suck your brains out, or something like that. There was not a lot of creativity in the horror, just a bunch of blood-sucking demons and people blowing them away with big guns and what have you. Not very horrific. But nonetheless, I just picked this up out of nostalgia, I'm not sure. Again, back to Incredible Hercules. See, this is the Dark Reign run. I did like the Dark Reign. I was a little surprised that I liked the Dark Reign with the Dark Avengers, but I found that to be quite an intriguing and interesting storyline. So the books that were part of that run, including this one here, The Incredible Hercules at number 127, I'm interested to see how the Dark Reign affected Hercules. Again, more of this Hercules. This is issue 133. Oh, next patch. And we'll start off with more Hercules. Why not? Yeah, because, I don't know, there's somewhere between 30 and 40 issues devoted to the Incredible Hercules, and now I have like 20 of them, so very easy to pick up this collection, and hope it's good. I do like some of the covers. I mean, that cover is good. I like, Hercules versus a lion. That's actually a very standard mythology bit. Here we got Fall of an Avenger. Not sure what that one's all about. More of the 90s style horror. I don't have high hopes for this. This has everything I don't like about the horror of that era. But I can't help myself when it comes down to horror. I will buy a bad horror book because I do like that genre. This one I'm a little bit more interested in. This is issue 3. I don't know how many books are in this particular series. Eventually I'll read it and find out just where we're going with this. But I did like the cover, and I'm curious as to what some of these newer writers are doing with the Blade character. Always liked the Blade character from the Tomb of Dracula. Not so crazy when he joined the Night Stalkers and joined that. Not so crazy about some of his appearances I've seen lately. Really, he's an Avenger. Or was an Avenger. That's just wrong to me. But we'll see how that is. This is Critical Mass, book 1 of 7. I was quite surprised that I reread the Shadowline series from the 80s from Epic Comics, and found that I quite enjoyed it. There were 3 titles: Dr. Zero, St. George, and Powerline, and each one of them was about 7 issues long, 8 issues long. And it was all sort of a connected storyline, and there was supposed to be a second block of 7 each, but sales were moderate, and so they decided to create just one more final called Critical Mass, which sort of combined all 3 storylines in this 7 book series. And surprisingly enough, I really like the series, and we'll talk about it some other time. Again, this is me just going through the Epic books. Coyote was one of the books that I had issue 1. This is issue 2, so I don't have any desire to necessarily complete it, but there it was. War of Kings. This is Marvel events. There's tons of Marvel events. I've got all kinds of them lying around. This is another one. I think Black Bolt was captured by the Skrulls, and when he was freed, he was really ticked off. And this is his revenge story here, I believe. I don't know that to be a fact. I haven't read it yet, but we'll see what that's all about. And there were, of course, there's always tie-ins to any kind of event, and this is War of Kings Ascension. That was Darkhawk, and I don't know who that is. That looks like maybe a War Machine Darkhawk. Who knows? Witches, issue 3. I read the first 3 issues. I have the first 3 issues. I don't remember this cover on the third issue. Is this a second print or is this a variant cover? Not sure. Or maybe my memory is just bad and this is in fact the only cover for the third issue. I'll find out eventually. And chances are, even though I just read The Witches within the last year and a half, I will probably just read this one again just because I thought the first 3 issues were good. Looking forward to reading the rest. The Ultimate line, the first batch of Ultimate books, I liked. Ultimate Spider-Man, X-Men, Fantastic Four, The Ultimates. I thought that was a very good line. And then they went and changed it, and I wasn't crazy about what happened afterwards. But I thought the first batch of Ultimates were very good. Interesting enough, the Ultimate Spider-Man was vying for Amazing Spider-Man for the better sales in the month. It was that popular. This is where, when it got strange for me with the white banner up top. I'm never sure exactly where it falls into the Ultimate line. Often when I buy these books, even though I have a checklist, it's perhaps my messiest checklist for a comic book, I'll always end up getting duplicates. One day I will straighten this out, but I find it a little difficult to track down exactly which books I need because they seem so similar with the white banner. The covers don't resonate with me, and this is Avengers, but I know there's an Avengers 2 and there's an Avengers 3, and each one of them will have an issue 3, so sometimes I get confused. Titans, I liked the Marv Wolfman, George Perez run on Titans in the 80s, and that's about as far as I've gone with the Titans. I haven't gone back into the Silver Age, and I haven't gone too much forward. So, again, filling up a box, you find space, and liking the Titans from the past. Let's give the Titans of beyond that period of time, beyond the 90s, an opportunity. Again, see, this is Ultimate Iron Man 2, issue number 4, and issue number 5. This is the one by Orson Scott Card, so I can only imagine it's from the first series. Now, a lot of people didn't like the Orson Scott Card bit on Iron Man with the blue goo and all that sort of stuff, but we'll see. Firestorm. I read, and I was happy just to actually complete the Firestorm from the 80s. Not the 5-issue one, but the 100-issue one recently, and I haven't moved beyond that as far as the character is concerned. So again, when I'm filling up a long box, sometimes I'll say, well, I haven't read what's happening with Firestorm lately, so let's check it out. So this will fill up a more complete Firestorm because it has these issues look like they're from 2006. And we'll see what that one's all about. I got a few of those, and I'm always happy to get a number of books from a particular character. Oh. Sorry for that. Okay, here is a character that I do like, as the Huntress. Again, I tend to like street-level heroes, ones without too many powers. And the Huntress is just an expert warrior trained by Batman, or at least following in his footsteps. I liked the earlier stuff that I read of the Huntress, so happy enough. Again, a lot of the stuff that followed beyond the 2005, I had no idea what was out there, so a lot of this stuff is a surprise to me. This would be like a surprise to me. Not like, oh my, they were doing another Huntress, but just I didn't know what was out there. Happy to have found it. Let's hope it's good. And again, there was 6 issues in this, and I managed to pick up 4 of them. I'm okay with that. It just means that I've got to pick up the other 2 at some other point in time. Deathmate. There are some Valiant books that I like. I like Turok, Eternal Warrior. I liked Archer and Armstrong. So I thought when I saw these, and I know there were 4 colors in the Deathmate series, I I would just buy them because they were cheap and read them and find out, what they were about, how good or bad they might be. So that was the red one. Here's the blue one. I'm pretty sure somewhere around I have the yellow one. This is an Avengers-related book, part of the Age of Ultron aftermath, and I tend to buy a lot of things that are Avenger-oriented. I've already picked up the first issue of this, and I didn't think it was all that sharp, but we'll see what it's a small series, so... Batman. Anytime I can get a Batman that I don't have from the dollar bin, I'm a happy guy, because I do like Batman. I think he's a great character. So I will, from whatever era, 80s, 90s, beyond, it's just, Batman's always a fun read. And this one is a great cover. I love that cover with the Joker on it. This is issue 451, and I can see that it's written by Marv Wolfman, and I think it's Jim Aparo. Batman Zero, again, very happy to get the Zero line. I do like all of the books with the Zero line, and this one's written by Doug Mensch, so happy about that too. And here we go with part of the Night Quest series, issue 504 with Catwoman on the cover. How can you go wrong with any of these books for $1? And finally, a Kelly Jones cover for Batman 533. Very, again, happy to get that. This is another Batman book, $6.89. Do you ever find that when you go into the dollar bin and you pick out a couple of books, and when you get back to your home and you go through them, you find out that it's in a lot rougher condition than you thought it was? This is one of those. It's got water damage. There's some soiling on it. It's dirty. So right now it's like a placeholder. I'll read it, and it's a reading copy, which is good with me, but really kind of a dirty copy, even for $1. You think, I don't want a dirty copy, but there you go. Detective Comics, not as popular as Batman, but there are some good stories within Detective as well, and I will pick up Detective books to fill up that run. There's a ton that I've got to get, so... But again, I'm happy because it's a Batman story, and it's costing me next to nothing to get these Batman stories, and I find him an interesting and versatile character. This is number 695. Looks like it's written by Chuck Dixon, and I like him. So unless there's a different Dixon out there, but there we go. Another Batman cover, another Detective Comics. Yeah, so I'm good with this. I don't know what these stories are like, and it'll be fun finding out. Okay, so we're continuing on with the Detective Comics. And No Man's Land, this is issue 730. Yeah, I'm good with all this stuff. Actually, I like that cover too. That's a good cover. You can see that I got a number of detectives in here, and as I say, at $1 a piece or 65 cents. I liked this whole series of covers that were part of the Batman line, so getting more of them in the detective line, that works for me too. Here we got the Penguin in here, sort of a black and white cover. Good looking cover. Don't know much about the story. We're all the way up to 824 now, so... And there's 838, another black and white style cover. Legends of the Dark Knight. I managed to pick up about 35 books to the run last year sometime. I really like the Legends of the Dark Knight. I like the concept where you can take a writer and an artist, a quality writer and quality artist, and they tell a singular Batman story. It doesn't have to fit into the continuity. It can be anywhere in his history. It doesn't have to be part of what's actually happened or going on. Batman is that versatile a character. Just tell a good Batman story the way you would like to tell it. Forget about all of the other things that are added to his character, so he can be super intelligent, have all the skills that he currently has, or it could be in his early years when he's just learning things and finding about some of these villains and what have you. I think it's a great series. I'm looking forward to completing it, and it's about halfway there now. Finding any of the books from that to add to that collection is good for me. I'm happy about that. So that was, 49, and then we jump all the way up to 210. Basically, I'm missing a lot of the issues from about 122, 210. So, interested to see what's happening here. Dr. Voodoo. So we're talking about Brother Voodoo. Always just been a marginal character, and for some reason his first appearance went through the roof as far as cost is concerned. But he's just always been a minor character. He did a little bit of time as the Sorcerer Supreme or whatever. Interesting to see, his own mini-series here. This one's issue 3. I don't know how many are in the collection, but interesting. This is just because I like the Fantastic Four, and I tend to pick up things that are Fantastic Four related. I've read a number of books from this particular series, the Things series. I don't think that they're particularly good. I haven't read all of them, so I'm going to read all of these again, and then we'll see what it looks like afterwards. But it was a short run. It was less. Well, no, I think it was about 36 or 37 books. So getting them on the cheap is fine. I'll take a look and see how the story unfolds out. But again, it's mainly because I'm a fan of the Fantastic Four, and it doesn't take much to fill up this particular collection at this price. And then we have a Dan Slott version of the Thing. I don't know what year this was written, but we'll take a look at that as well. This one is again a different, because this one was written by Dan Slott. And this one, Evan Dorkin, is that his name? I'm not sure. Dorkin is the writer of this one. So where they fall as far as the timeline is concerned, I don't know. But I do like the characters, so I'll read up on them. This is more of the last one we just saw by Evan Dorkin, if that is his name. Oop. Okay, here was the first series of Checkmate I bought, all at the dollar. Actually, it was less than $1. I remember buying them for $3 for $1. And there was like 30 in the series, so the whole thing cost me $10 to buy the first series of Checkmate. And I liked it. I thought it had some problems with it, as far as, well, we can get into that when I talk about the Checkmate series. But I thought it was interesting enough that when I saw that Greg Rucka, who I like, was writing another batch of Checkmate, I thought, okay, I'll give this a whirl and see what this one's all about. So that's what I'm doing. And again, I got a fair amount of these Checkmate books, and we'll see if the story is any good. Liking I like as I said, I liked enough the first set. So we'll see what this one is. This one looks interesting. There's some interesting characters on there. That looks like Captain Vertigo. Is that his name? Captain Vertigo. Involved in it. Looks like there may be a few more superheroes involved in the story itself, and that's not a typical agent. So we'll see how this one goes. As I say, I like I like Checkmate. Oh, I have 2 of those. One of those will go back into the doubles bin. That's probably Bronze Tiger. And there's Deadshot and Bane. So some interesting characters in there. I like that cover. That's a pretty good cover. And I don't know how many issues were in here, but it looks like I've got a fairly sizable chunk of them. So, and again, most of it looks like it was written by Greg Rucka, which a writer that I do like. It's funny with Wonder Woman, you can find these Bronze Age, sometimes not so much silver, but you can find Bronze Age Wonder Woman and Copper Age Wonder Woman in the dollar bins. They're usually in slightly rougher condition. This one's got some pen marks right down here. But Wonder Woman is such a long collection. I do like Wonder Woman, and I am working mainly on her 80s run. But whenever I can find one of these for $1 in halfway decent condition, I will be buying it. There's pen mark up here too. And then I went on continue to buy the later issues of Wonder Woman as well. A character I do like. And here we got a writer I like, Brian Azzarello, so I'm happy to get all this stuff. $605, $765. Yeah, no, I found that some of the newer stuff I wasn't crazy about, but I haven't really read it in sequence. And once I get a batch, there was some I read in a sequence and I liked it, but yeah, difficult when you read it sort of out of sequence. We're all the way up to $790. And then we get all the way up to $800. Like that cover. That's a good cover. And for $1, sign me up. As you can see, this was not a dollar bin. Now we're going back to some of the books that I bought outside of the dollar bin. I'm trying to complete the Marvel Team Up run. I have some of the key issues. I have the 141. I have issue 1. It's but I do I'm missing a lot of the lower ones from 1 to 20. Well, I have one, but down in the lower era. So I've been picking these up where I can at the price that I consider reasonable price for the book. This is a nice sharp copy of issue number 5. There's not a lot that's special necessarily about these books. It's just that it's a run that I am interested in completing. So when I can buy some of these, it's good. This one, $10 for issue number 6. $25. Now, some of these books, when I say $10, and that's $25 and $35, a lot of the times there was like a very slight discount when you buy them in bulk, then like 10% off or what have you. But so I'll go with the prices that are listed here. This is issue number 7 for $25. Again, you're looking at Bronze Age material here. Some of these are the first meeting of Spider-Man and a given character. I don't think any of the ones that we've seen have been, but there are a couple of those within this run itself, which we'll talk about at a later date. Issue number 14 for $10 with a Submariner. I believe this is the first time that Spider-Man and Ghost Rider meet, and I paid $25 for this, issue number 15. It's probably the weakest of the bunch that I've gone through so far, although the Thing one wasn't all that sharp. And it does cost a little bit more to get this one. Getting a better copy might be nice, but I'm satisfied with this for $25. $10 to get number 16 with Spider-Man and Captain Marvel. The original Captain Marvel from Marvel anyways. A sharp-looking copy of issue number 20 with Spider-Man and the Black Panther. I think Stegron showed up in the previous issue, but this might be Stegron first appearance. This one sells for a little bit more, and it's much later. It's issue number 117. This is all the way up to 1982, but it's because it's the Wolverine appearance on this that drives up the price, and I just wanted to complete it, and I have to get it, so. And Spider-Man, Kitty Pryde, again, this one was just to complete the run. Then there was a second run beyond this, basically written by Robert Kirkman, the man who wrote The Walking Dead and Invincible. And in fact, there is a key issue in here, issue number 2, I think it's number 2, or around there, where Invincible actually is the team-up character, and that one's worth a couple of bucks. The Human Target. I like the Human Target. I discovered the Human Target years ago when there was a run in Vertigo. And I liked that Vertigo run very much. So finding a few Human Target books, this is earlier before the Vertigo run, and then this is after the Vertigo run. Let's see how that is. I have one more little batch. Yeah, so this is a continuation of the Human Target. This is book 6. I don't know how many are in this series, but it looks like an interesting series. It's written by Tom King, so I'm looking forward to reading this one again. That's book 11, so obviously it's more than 10. And book 12. Okay, so this is relatively recent, and again, finding it in the dollar bin, yeah, okay, sign me up. And then to finish it off, I think Mystique had this run, which I did like this, the covers of this, and I think it's written by Brian Vaughan. So we'll check it out. I've got the first couple of issues. We'll see what this one looks like. I like that cover. Oh, last book in the bunch. I think it's no, there's one more after that. Yeah, Star Trek. Oh, this is always fun. Again, this is when you get some of those early Bronze Age. Remember, I was talking about the Wonder Woman that you get for a low price, and the condition is not all that sharp. Same thing here. We've got a copy of Where Monsters Dwell, number 26, but only cost me $1. And this kind of horror I really enjoy. I'm buying this for the story, and really, it's not bad shape for $1. Even if you take away the price of it. I mean, there's all kinds of ticks right along the edge here, and a rounded corner, and there's a thing here. So it's not going to be any 9.0, and it's more like in between a 4 and a 5. But even a book, when somebody says, "Oh, that's only between a 4 and 5," even if somebody says that, it's a 4 and 5, does it show well? Does it look sharp? And you know what? This book looks sharp, so sharp enough that forget about the cost. Just the book itself is sharp enough that I'm happy to have that one in my collection. All right, so that's some of the stuff that I've purchased over the last 6 months. If you like this sort of thing, and I like watching other people's purchases. I don't know why is that. Who knows? I should look into why do people like that sort of thing. But if you like that, just say you like, and we'll talk to you later, people.